So we're back out at the tower blind. I'm looking for a place to maybe put a looking branch that's within bow shot of the stand. And I'm not really seeing one that I like. So we may have to maybe make an artificial one where we drill a post into the ground. I'd really like to have it right on this trail because they use this trail all the time. Maybe I'll show you the trail. The edge right here is a 30-yard shot. So I'm very comfortable at 30 yards, so that'll be okay for me. I don't want to put it on the tree right next to it because then you're talking about 5 to 10 yards, and last year when I shot the 12 pointer at 12 yards, well, he was watching me when I pulled on him. This tree over here could possibly work. It's going to be about a 32 to 35 yard shot, but it's off that trail and it wouldn't work with the flow of the deer. So here's the tree I'm talking about, that limb right there hanging.
So let's pause a minute and talk about what I was referring to for deer flow. I'm talking about the natural movement that the deer are typically going to be used to when they're moving through an area. So we're talking about not disrupting that by putting the licking branch in a spot that they wouldn't naturally just walk through, where they would actually have to kind of divert their self to go to.
I could connect one to it, but I don't think that would work very well. I'm looking at this little tree right here that's hanging by the trail, but the limbs aren't sticking out how we need them. It just doesn't look good. I mean, maybe I could clear out right here with the brush hog, trim a lot of these limbs up, hanging off one of those limbs up there, and that might work. This tree right here is going to come down. I'm actually going to take a lot of it down here in a second because it blocks my view down this lane. And I actually had a shot opportunity of the 14 pointer right here last year had this tree not been here. So it's going to come down in the next couple of weeks.
Here's a picture of the 14 point I'm referring to. You can obviously see I'm not the one that got it. My dad ended up getting him during guns.
Like I said, I'll take a big chunk of it out here in a second. Take home to the deer at the house, and they'll eat these leaves up. You got a licking branch at the other place that I like to hunt, but it's been underwater because of all the rain. So we'll do what we can. I really like this spot since we've started planting it, since we've had this blind here, because we see tons of bucks. Almost every buck on the property comes here at some point in time. And we get good pictures. And that's something else we got to take into consideration. If you're going to put a licking branch out, you need to have it where you can get a camera. By hanging on this tree, I don't really have a spot for a camera, except on the other side of the pen, or on the other side of the lane here. That's not ideal. So we may have to use one of these smaller trees over here, maybe clear some out. There's a tree over there that might be wide enough to match the size of a camera. I'm not too concerned with rushing and getting it. I mean, it's 1st of July right now, 7th of July actually. The deer aren't really even in the property except for some does and their fawns. The bucks aren't here. They're off out in the ag fields right now. They're around here. Mosquitoes are absolutely horrible because of all the rain. So I think I'm gonna cut this short, cut a few limbs. I'll turn the camera back on once I've cut these limbs, show you what I did, At least for now, and then probably get out of here. So a few quick hacks. That's what we've got. I may, after seeing how that turned out, I may just come back with the saw, cut that limb off, trim this side up where there's no limbs hanging out, trim a few of these other little trees like this one and these, and then trim these branches up on these, and I've got a few back there I want to trim. And then of course trim the branches in front of the blind, because look, they have grown out in front of it this year. But then may climb up into it and take a look and see how it looks down there, because that may have opened it up enough where I can actually leave this tree, as long as it keeps growing that way. That may work, so we'll see. I'm gonna turn the camera off, grab a hold of this pile of brush here that I just cut, load it up in the truck, take it to the deer at the house, let them have it. They'll strip this down in a matter of minutes, and we'll see what comes next. I don't know why I didn't notice this before when I was talking, but right here by this tree I just trimmed up. We haven't left. I actually just turned the camera back on real quick. Got a fawn bed. Obviously it's a pretty good size little fawn. It's not an adult deer, you can tell like that, but it's a fawn bed. I know when I did brush hog this, I saw quite a few beds out here. Little ones like that by the big ones. You know, fawns are at the age right now where they're not sitting put. When someone or something comes by, they're actually getting up and they're going off. Some of them are following mom now instead of staying put, but hey, it's always a good sign when you've got a fawn bed. Not necessarily right in front of your stand. That's not what you want to see them bedding right by your stand, but you know, their patterns will change come September. And then once October gets here and season starts, it'll definitely be reestablished. So we'll see what happens.